Okay, so that's my view this morning, my beautiful view. Yeah. So good morning. So yesterday Billy Graham died, and obviously waking up this morning, we hear, like we see all the posts about Billy Graham and how he spoke to presidents and how he spoke to statesmen. And I read an article, and the article was talking about a conversation that one of the reporters had with him, where he was saying, sometimes he wishes that he wasn't maybe in the spotlight as much as he was, because he was many times that put him at risk of not sharing the message that he wanted. And one of my favorite things about Billy Graham is, he would always say, an evangelist is called to do one thing and one thing only, and that's to preach the gospel. And I see, like, even a number of people, their posts are also just about how clear he was about what he was called to do and how he was actually called to do that. What I didn't know, that I did find out though, is that he was apparently the first person to take the gospel message to TV and to kind of show it on TV, and that was really cool for me, because I didn't know that, so it was cool to find that out. But I think a lot of it has just got me thinking about we all kind of make this big hoo-ha about what we're called to do or who we're called to be. And sometimes God shows us elements of that, and as a result of those elements, or as a result of those seasons in our life that we have to go through, there's certain characteristic traits that he has to deal with in us, that he has to kind of iron out, and how we can then be so resistant to that. So we make this hoo-ha about, but Lord, why am I on this earth, and what am I supposed to do, and who am I supposed to be, as if the heavens are supposed to open, and then we're just suddenly going to know, and he's going to speak from heaven and be like, okay, this is who you are. But you look at the life of Billy Graham, and you actually get so overwhelmed by just the man that he was. When people were when people were going to his crusades, they weren't going to his crusades because they thought he was handsome, or they thought he had a nice voice, or they went to his crusades because the man had a message of hope, and so many people walk around hopeless. They went to his crusades, whether or not they believed in Jesus at that time, because all they knew is that they were in pain and they needed healing, and they'd either heard of someone they'd heard from someone they knew, or maybe they'd been to a crusade before, and at that crusade somebody maybe received the healing. And it reminded me of this whole notion of the crowd running after Jesus. Jesus didn't come and stand and say, okay, well, this is who I am, so now you must follow me, and kind of take it from there. Jesus, he came, and every single day, in every moment, he was that person that he was called to be, or he dedicated his life to the call of God in his, on his life. So we make this big we make this big fuss about who we're called to be, when actually God is trying to show us who that person is, in our daily living. So it's by smiling by somebody on the side of the road, or by helping someone we don't know, or by lending a helping hand where we can, in whatever situation we might find ourselves. And as we do these things, that is us becoming more and more like Christ. That is us being, I don't want to say, the word isn't proper, but being a good representation of the kingdom of heaven. One of the things that's really just jumping out at me as I read all these messages and stuff is people that don't know. And I think it's quite clear to see, people that kind of knew him and people that didn't at all. Not only that, but even the difference just between believers and non-believers, because believers are just he finally got to go home, he finally got to he's with Jesus now. How can we be sad about a man who's given so much to the body of Christ here on this earth, wanting to go home to be with Jesus? And don't misunderstand me, I'm not saying we must all want to die, but there's so much in his life that we look at and that we can reflect on. And it's challenged me so much this morning, just to say, okay, well, in my daily living, what am I actually doing that's either going to make somebody want to know the God that I know, or is what I'm doing in my daily living, is the way that I'm living my life, such that people will see me and say, Katie, I don't know, I don't want the God that you are following. I don't want to be associated with the God that you say you serve, because, you know, if this is who he is, then what hope is there for me? What hope is there in that situation for me? Yeah, and it just, it's overwhelming to think how so much we focus on what this big purpose is, when actually everything that I do in my daily life, every day, every moment, every time I encounter someone, does that person walk away with some sense of hope, with some sense of knowing that they are loved by someone that they can choose to either get to know, or someone that they will choose to never know. I don't even remember what I was saying. Yeah, but anyway, yeah, so there's so much that there's so many conversations that we can have around just the life of Billy Graham, and the testament that he is to the God that we serve in the kingdom of heaven that we so look forward to. But I guess my question to you this morning is, you know, like, let's take some of what people are saying, yes, but let's also take the opportunity to look at our own lives and to see, okay, well, you know, what is my role to play? Because yes, you know, if an evangelist is called to do one thing and one thing only, and that's to proclaim the gospel, what about those who are in marketplace ministry? What about the teachers? What about the preachers? What about the prophets? You know, when people engage with us, are they engaging with us and leaving understanding something more about love than they did before? Because if we're not getting the love right, then we're missing it. Like, we are actually missing it completely. So yeah, have a good week, guys, and rest in peace, Billy Graham, I guess. Okay.